Funniest story. About 2 months ago, I lost a sock. I don't mean that in a dismal sense, but I was doing my laundry, and one of my socks was not matching another sock. It was a lone sock, and one of my socks just was missing completely. I called up the police department. My sock's picture was on a milk carton. I don't know where the hell the sock is, but yesterday I got a postcard in the mail, a postcard from Jamaica, and it was from my sock, and it said, "Having a great time."
On the air everywhere, this is New England Broadcasting.
Damn sock.
Welcome to the Ron Van Dam Show. Hold on tight. Things can get a bit weird, if you like that sort of thing.
All the years I gave to that sock.
Whatever.
Bastard. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night. It's the Ron Van Dam Show.
Sit back, relax, grab a cup of coffee, a cup of tea, whatever your liquid libation may be in the morning, and join us as we take a look at the world around us. As much as it's a pleasure to be with you, the pleasure is actually all yours. And now, here's your host, Ron Van Dam.
Thank you very much, Julie. Welcome to the program. I am Ron Van Dam. That's true. Man. I try not to talk about Trump. I try so hard. So hard. You have no idea the struggle I go through not to talk about him. But sometimes it's just too hard to resist. So give me this. A little bit later on in the program, not too long from now, Elesia Carey will be joining us. She's a city girl. And, of course, we do our show outside the Boston area. So, well, I guess I'm a city guy still, but she was brought up in New York City, so this doesn't work out. But anyway, I'm a suburb guy. She's a city girl, and we have conversation about social matters and life things. And we choose a different topic every week on a Wednesday, and that's today. So she's coming up a little bit later. We're going to be talking about the holiday spirit. Does it actually exist? What is it? Is it annoying? Is it wonderful? What? So we do that a little bit later on in the program. Right now, it's time for me to malign this guy, Don. Don. I call you Don because I don't respect you to call you by your full title. I can't do it. I just can't do it. I can't do it. Don't even ask me. I remember when Don was running for president, he said a couple of things that just blew my gasket. First of all, he said that as president, he would pick only the best people. He would look at their backgrounds, their resumes, their activities from the past, and pick the most expert, best, qualified, trusting people he could possibly find. Later on, we learn most of them have been indicted. Good job, Don. Good job. You are a great judge of character. There's a long list of people that have been indicted whom Donald had chosen himself to be surrounded by. It's kind of almost funny. Paul Manafort as a campaign manager. Michael Cohen as a confidant and a personal attorney handling all of his affairs before he even became president. Michael Flynn, who is National Security Advisor, handpicked by Donald Trump, under indictment. Rick Gates, George Papadopoulos, all people that helped him with his campaign, who were crooked as hell and had pasts connected to Russia and various other scams. Jeff Sessions had to recuse himself, handpicked by Donald Trump. I mean, the list goes on, man. Should I continue? Tom Price. You know who Tom Price is? Yeah. He spent millions on charter planes and military jets to travel around. That's draining the swamp, Don. That's true. God. He since has left the building. Scott Pruitt, he was the EPA administrator, accused of horrible he's gone. Rob Porter, he worked very closely with the president in the White House. Two ex-wives claimed that Porter beat him. Porter's out. Wilbur Ross was the Secretary of Commerce. Bye-bye. Shady past. I mean, come on, man. Bill Shine, closely worked with Trump in the White House. He was accused of sexual harassment by 10 ex-employees. Good, Don, nice job. But what do you expect when the president himself has had a very shady, questionable past that he refuses to let anybody know about unless he's taunting it himself? It's just like, it's an amazing, what the hell did you do? Then, of course, this Mueller thing, this Mueller investigation thing, of course, that's just a scam and a witch hunt. That's all that is. That's just a scam and a witch hunt. Well, 13 Russian agents have been indicted. And it's not just that Mueller was finding people and putting them behind bars as scapegoats. Most of the people I've mentioned that were Trump associates were actually pleaded guilty. Nothing happened during the Russian thing, says Don Trump, but 13 Russian agents were indicted. Donald, your biggest mistake is not going to be your tweets or your mouth or your hair or your orange makeup or your ability just to tout yourself to the point of destruction, to make an asshole out of yourself, to act like a 5-year-old child. That will not be your greatest legacy. Your legacy will be the fact that you brought your children into the White House with you. You gave them national and international responsibilities. Your children who had no experience in anything other than running a little real estate company and selling cosmetics and clothing. You brought them in with you. You gave them these gigantic titles and responsibilities. I'm telling you, at least one of them will very shortly be indicted. Thanks, Don. Thanks, Dad. Thanks for bringing me into your world. Oh, man. I don't know. I'm just saying. Hey, again, I'm not a newsman. I am just a commentator. I just give you my opinion. It's not gospel or anything like that, but it's just my opinion, and I'm not a news guy. But I am, according to Donald Trump, I am the enemy of the people. And I, in response, say, Donald, you are the enemy of the people. You forgot that part. How about forgetting this, Don? Do you remember when you were running for president? Seems like a century ago. Do you remember when you were running for president? You stood up at a podium over and over again, and you said that you wanted to build this wall on the Mexican border to stop all the rapists coming in. Everybody comes over the border is a rapist and murders and kills, and there's blood stains all over the place from everybody from Mexico that gets in here. They come from Honduras, they go through Mexico, they come here and they kill people. That's what Trump said, and a lot of you bought that thing. Don, you said this so many times. I could play it, but there's really no point. You said so many times, we're going to build that wall and Mexico is going to pay for it. Not the United States citizens, not us. Mexico is going to pay for this wall. Wall's going up for sure. Mexico will pay for it. Guess what? Mexico said, no, we're not paying for it. Don still wants to build the wall because it was a part of his campaign. You can't backtrack it now. But now he wants to build the wall and have you pay for it through American tax dollars. He wants Congress to pass a budget that will fund his wall. That means we pay for it. We pay for it. Don, that is awful. If you had stood there when you were running for president and said, we're going to build a wall and you're going to pay for it, I don't think you'd be president right now, Don, because that was the center of your whole campaign, really. Wow. Actually, you'd still be president because you're running against Hillary Clinton, and that was a disaster. Anyway, my prediction, Ron, I didn't ask you what your prediction was. Yeah, I know that. My prediction is that by February, Don's in a whole heap of legal trouble. And my prediction is that by the spring of this coming year, 2019, Don will be an ineffective lame duck president who will not be trusted by anybody anymore, will be under indictment. Of course, his 30% will always stand behind him. Of course, that's that Don could murder somebody on Fifth Avenue in New York there in broad daylight, and his base would still be with him. And yeah, that's absolutely true because it's a cult following. I get it. But that's going to actually happen. He won't murder somebody in New York, but he will actually be it'll be proven that he is collusive. He's collusive. Obstruction of justice, sure, that's a given. But let's just see what happens. But yeah, I believe that by the spring, no one will believe a thing. He'll be totally ineffective and just a laughingstock. Anyway, I've spoken too much about him. I apologize. I really don't like to talk about the man so much because this is supposed to be a somewhat lighthearted social life experience program. But every once in a while, man, I mean, my gonads just start flopping against each other. And I've got to relieve it somehow. When we come back, Elesia Carey joins us, and we're going to be talking about the holiday spirit. Well, what could be more topical than that? Is it real? Is it crazy? Well, yes, of course it is. Well, we'll talk to her right after this little commercial break.
First, they put jalapenos on your hamburger. But that wasn't hot enough. Then came habaneros, but still, that wasn't hot enough. Next came the ghost pepper, and still, that was not hot enough for you. Well, buckle up, tough guy, because Burger Guy thinks you're not man enough to handle the heat of our new, sweet, flaming mother of heaven. What the f*** did you assholes do to my hamburger burger? Featuring two of Burger Guy's signature paper-thin patties topped with an experimental hot sauce made from a concentrated hot pepper extract that has only been approved for military use by North Korea. This burger will burn a hole through every inch of your intestines and then slap your mama on its way out for good measure. This burger is so hot they wouldn't let us test it on prisoners. Death row prisoners. But for a limited time, you can try your luck at your local Burger Guy. If you're not a complete pussy.
All purchases of the sweet flaming mother of heaven, what the f*** did you assholes do to my hamburger burger, must be pre-approved by a certified attorney at law with proper notification of next of kin. Sweet flaming mother of heaven, what the f*** did you assholes do to my hamburger burger must not be consumed within 500 yards of schools or within 1,000 yards of open flame. All Burger Guy franchisees reserve the right to ignore cries for mercy or requests for immediate medical attention.
It's time for Chit Chat with Elesia Carey. We do this once a week at our peril, and today's the day. How are you today?
I'm kicking.
God.
It's Monday. I'm spirited. I'm kicking. Yeah, I've got both feet on the ground. Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay. Well, we're getting close to we're in the holiday season, actually.
We're in the holidays.
Yeah. I got to be honest with you. It kind of doesn't feel like it to me. It's about 3-4 weeks away, and I just I don't get into it until the week of.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah.
So I guess that's our first question. Like, what is the spirit? What do you think is the holiday spirit? Like, if you had to define it in Webster's dictionary.
I for me, in the dictionary, it should say as soon as you start singing Christmas songs to yourself for no reason whatsoever, you're stuck in the spirit.
All right. Yeah. Check that box. Okay, got it. So that's it. Singing the songs.
Well, yeah, for me, that's kind of the spirit thing. When my body shakes a little bit when I hear the music, like I almost start to dance. Then I'm in it. I'm encompassed.
All right. Well, then I appreciate that. When I was scrubbing my bathtub, when is it?
And
I know I leave such a rich, full life.
Yeah, you do.
But yes, I was scrubbing. Cool. I was doing my bathroom maintenance, and I was singing I'm Dreaming of a White Christmas.
There you go.
So I guess I'm in the spirit, but I think for me, I'm going to add a little bit of that, and I agree with that, like singing the song. I also feel like the word spirit, I think it's a right word, meaning there's something that comes over me where I feel different.
Yes.
I would say a little bit. I would say it's not the words happy, because I think I've come into a happy place in my life, but I'm saying joyful. I feel joyful. I feel a little different vibe that's kind of like it's light, and it's also I'm going to say I have different goggles on. You know how you can say you have beer goggles on when you get drunk? And I've never gotten drunk, so there's never been a beer goggle moment in my life. Absolutely not, except maybe a couple holiday parties. But I do get the Christmas goggles on. That's the word I'm going to use for my spirit, where I might do and say things that I don't normally do except during the holidays.
I understand.
Christmas goggles. I'm going to put a trademark on that.
Christmas goggles?
And if I hear you using it without checking with me, oh, brother.
Well, then that'll be the end of the spirit part.
That's the end of the spirit part.
I think you have to send yourself a letter with the name on it, and that's like an official trademark then.
All right. Well, for us, let's in the spirit. Yeah. I'm going to say we both can use it. The holiday goggles, spirit goggles, whatever you want to call it.
Spirit goggles. I like that.
Yeah.
A few weeks ago, we talked about something called stuff. We talked about. What did we talk about? I lost my train of thought. We talked about
so much. What did we talk about? The holiday party?
Oh no! When someone compliments you, if that makes you feel good and stuff, and I said, I had an example of someone complimenting me and complimenting back, and then we went on with our daily lives. People do that during Christmas. People who don't know you, strangers, will say, "Merry Christmas," and no matter what religion you are, there's an attachment all of a sudden.
You're right, and you feel good when you hear that. And you're right. That's the spirit. That's the spirit too.
That's spirit.
Where I not only for me in New York City, it's the big bad apple, and I think it's more the spirit is more prevalent. I'm using big words today. During the holiday, because people walk past each other every day so quickly, and I slow down during the holidays. I really do. I give more money to people who don't have a roof over their head. Right, so I'm more apt to do that. Hold the door open. But and do little niceties for strangers.
I understand.
Maybe stranger niceties. That's what I do.
That's very nice.
with a joyful heart, with not like not grudgingly, but hey, how you doing? Or especially like for example, you're getting your local coffee at your local coffee place. My hand might go a little deeper during the holidays.
I understand. I understand. Yes, I agree with you. I tend to tip more, that kind of thing. So, yes, the downside of it is that after it's over, you kind of say to yourself, why can't it be like this all year round? Kind of has nothing to do with the holiday itself. We just seem to be kinder and more open. So it's kind of sad that we transition away from it, but yet for some, a monthly thing, well, not monthly, that'd be something else, some annual thing, then we do it. That's kind of sad. It doesn't say much about us as a society.
It doesn't, but I have a little idea. What do you think about that? You know how they have like stuff like Heart Health Month and they have like Nutrition Month?
Yes, they do.
What about Giving Month? What about a month that, I don't know how these people do these things, but the Giving Month, the month of giving,
I like that.
I don't know what that month could be. Could be December. It should be not December, like you said, because we do it in December.
Yes.
So let's just say some random, I don't know, June, whatever, May, June, something like that. Month of giving.
I agree.
Where maybe, maybe the 6th month, the halfway point, kind of a giving month.
Yeah.
Where we do acts of giving. That could be something that, maybe somebody could petition that. And that during that time, every day, you have to do or should do some sort of giving. It doesn't have to be monetarily, because you know what? That's the thing about giving, or the spirit of giving, or whatever. Everybody thinks it's money. It's not. The thing that I think people want most, you want to hear something really sad, Ron?
Yeah.
Is time. Is time. I think I used to, when you live in the city, okay, and people think that everybody has 500 friends, and you know what I mean, and and all that. It's actually one of the loneliest places.
It is.
There is. I had a neighbor who, she lived in that building forever, and my doorman would tell me she had like no guests, no visitors, and I would talk to her. She didn't. It's not what people think. Just because you see somebody and they look fabulous, and they're doing all their stuff, and they have the right New York look, you think that they're in this, but they're not. It's actually, I think cities are lonelier than. So with that said, it would be nice to give of your time. Like this holiday, how about giving of your time? There's so many people that just want to just a call people randomly, just to say, hey, just to say, hey, maybe that's like a gift that you give somebody this year.
I suppose. But then,
what do you think?
Well, it's a nice offer, but then again, it's almost because it's time to do it. As soon as there's anything set where, okay, this is the time to do this is the time to be nice, then it kind of, for me, it just takes away from it. It's because we were instructed to, because it's the thing to do, because it's the day of, the month of. I just think it's sad. You got all these people going to church who are preached this every week that they go, and then they leave the church, and it's like, yeah, all right, that was church time. This isn't church time anymore. It's good. Yeah, I don't know. I think as a society, we've just kind of like.
We've come away from it. You're right. You're right. It is. But you know what? Because we want to make sure this is a good note. I think if those are listening, like you said, let's not make this a monthly thing or the end of the year thing. Let's maybe make just our own way. Because when you give of your time and you give of yourself, it actually makes you happy.
Sure.
So I'm going to say, those who are listening, to ourselves included, try to make it a 365 thing. You know what I mean? I do try, I'm going to be honest, daily to do something nice. Now, it's not the same person. It's like random person. So it could be, whoever you counted, either, for me, somebody in the subways, it could be somebody in the street. I try to do daily thing, either like an act of giving to somebody who's, homeless or what have you, to just even a random, you look good in that T-shirt. when I'm in the working out.
I
I'm
understand.
joking.
You're
looking good.
Yeah.
No, that's a different thing.
You lie to make somebody feel good.
Yes,
you know.
exactly,
Right.
exactly.
Yeah. That's okay, and that's not lying.
Exactly.
That's I don't think that's a lie. I don't call that a lie, even though you may not believe it. You're doing it for a purpose that is not lying. You're doing it to make someone feel good, so it immediately erases the lie. Now we're not talking about cheating on somebody. We're just talking about their T-shirt. So let's get that clear.
Yeah. I think if we can all make that declaration, I think that would be something. Right. I try to do it. Not every day I succeed, but I would say maybe 60 or 70% of the time I try to do a little bit. Maybe that's what we need to walk away from this year. We should learn something each year. I mean, it seems like what we learned this year, and I'm going to bring it down and bring it up. There's a lot of people that are lonely and sad and depressed that we don't know about. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
So that's a down. To bring it up, what I'm trying to say is, be nice to somebody. You never know if a random act of niceness or kindness will make the difference to somebody's life in a small, medium, or large way.
You know what's funny though? You can even do it for selfish purposes, but it's not selfish. It's like win-win. For example, you do something nice. I was walking the streets of Boston like a month ago because I like to walk around, and there was a guy in a wheelchair, and he said, "My arms are tired. Would you mind pushing me to my apartment building? It's a block away." I said, "No, not at all." I pushed him there. He said, "Oh my God, thank you very much. Can I give you money?" I said, No, that was fine. I felt so good about myself. Now I helped this guy, but from a selfish standpoint, I was on the top of the world. I said, I'm a good person. I really wanted to do that. So it's like everybody wins when you do something nice.
You're right. And that's a great thing. That's a wonderful thing. That must have made you feel that much. And for me in New York, I don't know why, I have the face of somebody who can help somebody find directions. Mm-hmm. And I don't know why. I get people asking me for directions all the time. Yes. So I will stop sometimes. I'll even hang on a train. I'll even stay with them, or if we're all getting off the same stop. Wow. I will depends on the couple, like, or the person. Like, if it's somebody who truly does not have a clue, and there's this person, she didn't speak English and she had to get to a certain stop, but they didn't tell her exactly what stop, and it was like a number on a building. So I got out with her, and we walked, to just, because I'm figuring, what if I was in her country? She was Chinese. What if I was in her country and and she did this, like this? Feel good. She could have been lost for the rest of the day, or whatever.
For her whole life.
Yeah, for her life. So I said, let me just walk her to the
Very nice.
And I told her, you tell them they can't give you an address. You need to know, like, your street. And she was like, thank you. And I'm like, I'm sure she probably didn't even know what I was talking about. I went out of my way because I feel that everything is reciprocal. I hope that one day when I have, I know, I need guidance in some way, I'll get it. The universe comes around, karma.
Sometimes it do. Sometimes it do. Well, there you go. That's your definition of Christmas spirit or holiday spirit, I would say.
Holiday spirit.
Spirit.
Let's make this.
Let's do it proper. Yes, absolutely. Because we're now in
the middle. Because it is Hanukkah.
We're in the middle of Hanukkah. Well, we're in the middle of Hanukkah now. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Absolutely. And there's probably other holidays that I can't even pronounce.
Kwanzaa.
Thank you. Okay. All right, Elesia, this was good. This was good. I think this is a good thing. You have yourself a wonderful week. This has been Chit Chat with Elesia Carey. Well, I hope you're happy. I'll be back again tomorrow with a brand new show. Please join me then. In the meantime, why don't you do something creative for a change? Yeah, just close your eyes. Think of something that would be creative, like maybe move your furniture in your sitting living room area. Just like move the couch to a different position or something. Feng shui yourself to death. Go cook something using a different type of spice or something like that. Be a little creative. Say, oh, this is a dish that I created myself, and it's very, very tasty. Do something creative. Don't just drink beer and then walk to a place and go home and watch TV. Do something creative. Take something and make something of something that wasn't there before. Am I making any sense to you whatsoever? No, I know. I get it. I know. You have the ability to make this an incredible day. Yes, you do. Without the input of anybody else's opinions or ideas, just you. You can do it. Have yourself a wonderful day. I wish you peace.